Hey guys, what's up? My name is Flori and this is Waschhaus TV, and today I'm going to talk about Alexis Ohanian, one of my personal heroes, his book about tech startups and gatekeepers. So let's get going. So welcome to this week's episode of Waschhaus TV. Today I'm going to introduce to you Alexis Ohanian. He's one of my personal heroes and he's the co-founder, most known for co-founding Reddit.com in 2005. He also started a social enterprise named Breadpick, and he's one of the co-founders of hipmonk.com, which is a travel search site. He has also invested in over 80 tech startups, and he's hosting a show on The Watch called Small Empires, where he's visiting tech startups in New York City. For example, he visited 53, which is one of my personal favorite iPad apps. Actually, they make Paper one of my personal iPad apps, personal favorite iPad apps. And but they also visited Squarespace and Rap Genius and Photography, Makers Row, really interesting tech startups. You can check the episodes out on YouTube. I'm putting a link down in the description. And he joined the fight against SOPA and PIPA in 2011. Those were the Stop Online Piracy Act and the Protect IP Act. Both would have a vast impact on the freedom of the internet, and so he became one of the famous faces in the movement against those two acts. And he's also written a book which is called Without Their Permission. His book has main 3 chapters. In the first one, he's telling the story behind Reddit.com and Hipmonk. And in the second one, he's giving real-world advice to aspiring tech entrepreneurs. And in the last one, he's talking about the power of free internet and why it is really important to keep freedom on the internet. And especially the story of Reddit.com is really interesting because it's also a story about failure and rejection. His co-founder Steve Huffman, back in the days, they came up with an idea for a company they want to found, and they actually got rejected by Y Combinator, which is one of the top startup incubators nowadays. And then in a really short period of time, they created the idea for Reddit.com. And it has been acquired 16 months later by Condé Nast, which is a publishing company based in New York. So this is a totally interesting story, and this is just so motivating and inspiring. And what's also really motivating, and I like that so much, is there's a screenshot of Reddit.com. This is actually the first version of Reddit.com, and he writes, "I use this first version of Reddit as an example of just how embarrassed you should be by your first version." So I think this is so cool. When you think about that, Reddit.com, it's one of the top 50 websites in the United States, and it also just started as nearly a blank page with basic functionality. And this is so great and so aspiring. And it really should give you the hope that when you start with something crappy, you can make something real great out of it. So the second chapter is all about real-world advice. He gives really cool, applicable advice for entrepreneurs. And he's talking about marketing, and he's talking about how important it is to just give a damn. And he's talking about earning users and how to pitch your ideas the right way. But he's also talking about cute mascots and delightful error messages, all which is really important for a cool website. And in the last part, he's talking about the importance of internet freedom with something like SOPA and PIPA, which really would have a vast impact on the free internet. Something like Reddit.com would have never been possible. And so therefore, it's really, really great that they actually were able to turn it around back then in 2012. And one of my favorite quotes from Without Their Permission actually is, "The world isn't flat. The World Wide Web is." Right? There are no gatekeepers in the World Wide Web. It's free. All links are created equally. And this is such an important thing because it's such a great time to get out there and create something on your own. there are no gatekeepers. No one who's saying, oh, you can't do that. No one who's saying, oh, that's not the way how it's done. That's not the way how it's supposed to be done. I experienced this myself. People are out there. People, they just don't believe in you, or people that just don't believe in your ideas. And there's a really easy solution to that. You just have to get started, do something, and prove them wrong. That's all it takes. You are unique, and so are your ideas and approaches. And that's awesome. Because if everyone's the same, there would be no innovation at all, right? So, that's it for today. This was Warschau's TV episode number 5. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next week. And see you next week. Schon wieder viel zur Hölle eigentlich, oder? Ja, ist mir wurscht.